Hello, hello. I am so excited to be here with you guys today. I'm going to be talking about a little bit of a tough subject because most people they love to live. Sorry, I'm trying to record up here too. Most people love to live in their comfort zone. And their comfort zone, they feel like will equate to safety and will equate to a positive future. And that is a lie that we tell ourselves. And really partnering and understanding what our association looks like. What does our future look like? What does our purpose look like? What does it look like for us to really walk in the way that the Lord wants us to walk? And really understanding that sometimes, sometimes faith means that looking past the landscape of destruction around us to the restoration. And really understanding that sometimes faith really means looking past the landscape of destruction around us and more to the restoration that God has promised to the horizon, right? Like we have to be looking at our future. We need to be looking at, hey, what has God promised us through this time? What has He said for our lives? What has He said so that I can be fruitful and so that I no longer partner with things that I'm not supposed to be partnered with, right? And so really that's what this is about. It's about positively partnering with the right things, the right mindset, the right mentors, the right groups, the right everything, the right books, the right podcasts, partnering properly with our mindset, partnering properly with our spirit. Because if we're not partnering the right way, we're going to lose, right? Like if we aren't doing the things necessary so that we can actually be fruitful, so that we can actually be successful. And really that stems from two places. One, it's really going along the lines of, sorry, just a sec. When we really understand what it's like to partner properly with the right association, partner properly with the right wisdom, partner properly so that we aren't in this place of sacrificing our best selves, our best mindset, our best relationships, the best you. What does that really look like? Well, number one, are we partnering with people who are helping us move closer to God or farther from God? Number two is, are we partnering with people who are helping us move closer to our purpose or further from our purpose? If that person, that thing, the vice, whatever it is not moving us closer to our purpose, we need to really reanalyze some things, right? Um, if we are in a position where we are looking around and we're really analyzing, hey, like this association feels like it's depleting me. Here's the thing about women. We tend to think that we can fix absolutely everything. And can we? Sometimes, yes. But when it comes to people, they have to want it for themselves. They have to be just as eager, just as hungry, just as excited to make those things happen. And so what tends to happen as women is that we think, oh, I can fix that. Those red flags I see, I can totally fix it. That's totally fine. And most of the time, really, those red flags should be huge within our life to realizing, hey, that's not someone I need to partner with. Who we choose to partner with matters. Who we choose to walk with in life matters. It really is the difference between being successful and living a life of poverty, right? And what's interesting is most of you think I'm talking about money because that's what we equate wealth to, right? Is money. Obviously, money is just a tool. We have to be able to pay things like, our electricity, gas, things that our kids need, food. I get it. But that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about wealth in all areas. Do you have an association? Do you have a mentor that pushes you to be more? My mentor has wealth in all areas. Has a very successful marriage. She has successful children. She has an incredible relationship with Christ. She is a New York Times bestseller. She has been on TV shows. Like she is a huge blessing. And if you have the opportunity to be in the same room as her, guess what? She never makes it about her. She always makes it about you. She always makes it so that she can help elevate you. And that's where I get really like even more passion and fire from. Whenever I'm around her, she makes me better. She makes me make the decisions or rather choose the path that I know the Lord wants me to have instead of manipulation. I know that there's a lot of coaches out there. You know what's so funny? So many people equate followers to success. They think, oh, this person has 1 million followers and they're going here and they do all this, like, and they think that's success. What's interesting is sometimes those people don't have fruit. You need to pay attention to the fruit. I have people in this group who have millions of followers. And they're seeking this group because they don't have fruit in certain areas. But what's beautiful about them is that they're actually seeking. They're actually looking for help. They have the desire to be more. Or where there are some people who have the state of mind of, I have arrived. I have arrived. And they're not seeking to have better fruit. They're not seeking to further other people. They're seeking their own pockets. They're seeking manipulation. Have you ever had that? Somebody in your life that like literally functions from manipulation. So you think they're for you, but really they're manipulating you into a path that they wanted for you, like for themselves and not for you. They're doing for themselves and not for you. Being a fierce woman means you're thinking outside the box. You're thinking about others. You're thinking about how can I not only elevate my life, but what can I do within my life so that I can help other people be fruitful? And that doesn't mean, I just want to make it clear, maybe you're in a position where you're building a business, right? Maybe you're in a position where you're in the build of yourself. Maybe you're in the position where you're, really wanting to further yourself in your career. It doesn't matter. You should always be looking to help others. I was on a phone call with a gal the other day, and she was creating something very unique that I've never really heard of, and I was helping her elevate some things with that. And something that we talked about was, how businesses, like a lot of owners, don't know the power of their employees. They don't know that. And so I want you to hear me, whether you're building a business or you have a career, understand the power of having and cultivate a positive culture, whether that be within your employee, whether that be within the sale, whether that be whatever that is. What does it look like? Are you an asset to the culture around you, or are you the red flag? Are you surrounding yourself around people that are purely red flags that literally drain you? Have you ever been in a position where you leave a room and you feel depleted? You're like, what is that? And some of us will blame it on, oh, I'm just not an extrovert. Like, no, 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 no. No. It's because that room is depleting you. It's not serving you. It's not helping elevate you. It's hurting you. So we need to start really paying attention on how we choose and who we choose to be around. So let today serve as a Monday motivation, as a fierce focus for you to really start focusing on, okay, who in my life is actually helping me? Who in my life is actually hurting me? I understand that you love your Aunt Sally or your Uncle Bob, and it feels so good to be around them. But sometimes the things that feel good are not good for us. It's a distraction. And what the enemy cannot destroy, he will 1000% distract. We sometimes allow him a seat at our table. We'll say, hey, yeah, come on over. And it's so funny because people think that the enemy is this person that's like roaring, super loud. And that's not the case. The enemy functions sometimes like this. Sometimes it's a close friend in your life who's telling you, are you really sure you want to take a chance on that? That sounds really risky. Sometimes it's the coworker that's like, oh yeah, I had a family member that tried that once. They just weren't successful. Or maybe it's you're sharing about your relationship and then it begins as a seed because your aunt said something like, honestly, if I were in that position, I wouldn't stay, but good for you. That's how the enemy functions. He functions in a whisper that starts to rapidly, wildly grow in your mind. And then you know what we do? You know what we're really, really good at? We're good at watering it. We're good at watering it and allowing that to take over. As if that's the way that God is supposed to position us. So listen, your challenge for this week is to start becoming aware of the things in your life that are depleting, the things in your life that do not serve you, the things in your life that are taking you away from having a fruitful future. Someone made a joke the other day and they were like, my kids are crazy. I'm like, ah, ha, ha, ha. No, don't say that. That's not what I mean. Okay. Obviously, there's going to be beautiful blessings in our life that sometimes it's hard, but allowing us to foolproof and move through. But I mean, who's speaking in your life? For those of you who are dating someone, I'm going to tell you right now, sex is not everything. Okay. If your relationship is purely sex and you're not married, sorry, I know that some of you guys have your kids in the room, so I'll not say that word again, but some of you guys are in a relationship that's purely like that. It's purely physical and it's not even spiritual. It's not reaching any level of intimacy. Did you know that there are 12 levels of intimacy? 12. And sometimes we choose to be stuck in a situation because you don't want to see the red flags. You don't want to see that they don't want to commit. You don't want to see the greater things that you potentially could have. Or my favorite is when someone's in a marriage and they're so selfish that they don't even see that they're not helping elevate the other person. There is so much beauty within a positive, fruitful, powerful marriage, the intimacy that comes with that. But it takes two. And I actually go through this within the 6 week challenge. Week 5, I talk about marriage and what the different levels of depth and how you can actually be successful and fruitful, as well as how can you be successful and fruitful within your network. That's why it's important to engage in this challenge. The challenge that I've created there's nothing else that touches it, because every single woman that really takes it seriously radically changes. So where are you looking to create the radical changes in your life? If it's your business, start looking at where can I think outside the box? Who can I partner with? Who are the people that are going to be able to give me the vision, give me the power, give me the things necessary so that I can serve the kingdom properly? If it's your career, what can I do better to accelerate? Because sometimes, guess what? You just got to asking the right questions, right? And you know how to ask the right questions? When you're around the right people. Because the right people, even if it's within the job world, they're going to push you to be better. They're going to push you to climb up that corporate ladder, right? And then there's the other scope. Maybe you're the person that's like, I'm just here to grow. I'm here to grow my faith. I'm here to grow myself. I just want to be better. And if that's you, then you need to choose better. You need to choose better association. You need to choose a better relationship financially. You need to choose a better better relationship with your wellness. Relationships matter in all areas in our life, but we have a choice. And so this week, I want you to really, that's your homework, is to focus on your choices. Focus on who am I surrounding myself with that is hurting my future versus helping my future. You know what I love about my mentor? She keeps it real. She keeps it real 1000%. I'll be talking about something, and you know what? She'll always bring it back to God. That's awesome, Lily. I am so proud of you. So how are you going to serve God with that? How do you feel like you can equip women better so that you can serve God that way? Because she knows that the Lord is the center of how I always want to keep things. Always, right? In addition to that, she'll check me. Hey, that was not the right decision. But here's how we can fix it, right? That wasn't the right decision, but here's how I can fix it. That's what you want to look for in the mentor. You want to look at like a mentor that's actually going to elevate you. It should not be something that strokes your ego all the time. I love when people, okay, it's so interesting. I was doing a speaking engagement because for those of you who know, I motivationally speak. And afterwards, the person that hired me was like, I have never experienced a talk like that. Not only did you motivate, but you actually put plans in place. And that's not usually the something that occurs. Usually when you have a motivational speaker, they make you feel good. And then afterwards, you're like, okay, wait, where am I going to apply this? For me, I specifically am like, this is how you're going to apply it. This is what you're going to do. These are the steps that we're going to take, because I am a no nonsense type of person. I'm the person that if you want to position to yourself to be better, we're going to do better. But it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. I'm not going to stroke your ego. I'm going to look at all the gaps you got going on. I'm going to tell you, provide a resource for those areas. And this is how we're going to get aggressive about it. Who do you have in your life that's doing that for you? Who in your life is telling you, hey, you got to get aggressive about this, 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 this? Who in your life is saying, hey, I understand you had that argument with your husband, but what are you doing to solve it? What communication are you both bringing to the table? Have you guys actually worked through that? Have you prayed through that? Have you fasted together to work through that? What are the solutions in your life? And that is the difference between having a positive association that's helping you move forward and someone that's hindering you. Someone that's hindering you is going to tell you all the excuses and why it's okay to sit where you are. They're going to kind of make you feel good about the situation that you're in. Right? Versus the person that wants to help you move forward. They're gonna be like, hey, I understand what you're going through, but we're not gonna stay there. Here's what we're gonna do to do that. So choosing wisely, choosing the people that we desire to help us move forward. So remember, number 1, does this person take me closer to God or further from God? Number 2, does this person take me to the next step in my purpose or keep me from my purpose? And here's the third thing. Is this person functioning humbly and really serving me from their best intentions? Or is there a level of manipulation here so that I serve them in some way? And no, I'm not talking about paying for their fees or whatever costs I'm talking about. Like those are just regular things. right? But I've had mentors in my life that completely manipulated my husband and I for years, years. I'm talking, my husband and I are speaking on stages with 20,000 people. I'm not even lying. Look it up. Okay. And literally all of that, like I found was I couldn't really talk about God. They would say it was for God, but it was a high level manipulation of what I could and couldn't do. Right. And then the partnerships that you keep. Oh, listen, for those of you who are looking to build a business or looking to get into a partnership with someone, be wise about this. My husband and I, we have made the mistake of partnering with the wrong people, and it cost us dearly. Guys, I remember sitting in court and being like, why, Lord? How is it possible this person is winning? How is it possible that this lack of justice is here? How are they getting away with these lies? And you know what the Lord told me? He said, because you're not sitting in my court. You're sitting in the enemy's court. So they're going to win. I remember going to court that day and thinking like, okay, God, I got everything in place. Truth is going to prevail. It's going to prevail. And he literally told me, no, you're going to lose this one. And you're not at fault, and I'm going to handle it. And he did. Let me tell you, he handled that big time. But if I had just listened to when the Holy Spirit told me not to partner with these people, I wouldn't have been in such a negative situation in the first place. Sometimes we choose chaos. Sometimes you're the one that's causing the chaos. You're so used to the chaos in your life because of the trauma that has happened that it becomes a level of comfort for you. So where are you going to start navigating? I'm no longer going to do that. I'm no longer going to partner with that. I'm going to say no. I'm going to have healthy boundaries. I am going to do the things necessary so that I can actually move forward. Right? What does that look like in your life? Who are you partnering in your life with that's actually moving you forward? And then also the choice of investment. Where are you truly choosing to invest your time, your mind, your spirit, and your financials? I sat with someone and we were regrouping a few different things. We were sitting, it was a one-on-one client. I was helping her with her budget. And at first she was like, I can't do that, and I can't do this, and I can't invest into this, and I can't invest into this. And I was just like, okay, do you want real answers, girl, or do you want to keep saying can't? And she was like, well, duh, like, I want answers. I was like, okay, like, let's get to work then. After finishing her budget, we found that she was wasting like $1,500 on resources that were not serving her future. And on small stuff, small little Target things here, a little Starbucks run here, a little extra gas station run here. And she was in the financial department, okay? Like that was her field. So don't ever think that you're too much of a cut above to get help. And then from there, we started to play. I was like, hey, look, so this is how much you have left. And if you pay these things down and we start moving these things here, then you're going to be able to get aggressive with investing here. You're going to be able to invest into more books here, more coaching here, more like financial assets that we were looking at some crypto stuff for her, and also some real estate moves that she was going to be able to make. My point is like you need to be partnered with people who actually want you to be financially successful as well. It can't just feel good. It needs to be good, right? So the way that we choose our financials, the way that we choose our health, the way that we choose our relationships, guess what? Somewhere along the line, someone planted a seed in your mind that said, this is the life that you're worthy for. And 99.9% of the time, it's a negative thing because you feel like you can't accomplish the highest level that I believe that you can have because of that negative seed. And I'm telling you right now, you need to uproot that seed, throw it out, replant, regrow the positive things. And that starts with the choice of the people that you choose to be around and the choice that you invest into. Are you investing into yourself? What are you reading? Girl, those naughty books, they are not going to take you where you need to go. They're not. I had a client once that her and her husband were having a rocky time. It was my husband and I coaching them. And it was really interesting because she was just like, I just hate being around him. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. And I just was like, okay, I know my husband's perspective of how he's coaching and stuff. And so I'm like, something's missing here. And one day, like there was like a little bit, like, you know how you can see like the sign, like what is it? What am I thinking? English, come to me, the book name on the spine. Okay. It was like on the very side of our call. And I was like, what's that? Because I'm nosy. I was like, what are you reading, girl? And she's like, oh my gosh, it's actually not, it's probably not going to be your thing, but it's a story about this mafia guy. And he like finds this girl and she's like, kind of like a slave for a little bit, but then like they fall in love and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, there it is. That is her hindrance. She is literally taking someone else's story and equating it to what her marriage should be like. Well, he doesn't do this. And it's because you're like comparing it to a false mafia lord. Stop reading that crap and then comparing your husband to it. Okay? Every day is not flowers. He can make you feel like flowers. You know what I mean? But he's not always going to bring you flowers. It's a false conception that we create in our minds. And so what are you reading? Are you actually reading the parent? If you are not a parent, read a parenting book. If you are a parent, read a parenting book. It's actually not so that you can help disciple your children better, even though it is at the same time, but it's not. It's actually so that you can disciple yourself and others around you. This is a suggestion that my dad's friend told me when I was 16, no, 14. Multi-millionaire, owns several different businesses, extremely smart. And he told me, hey, what are you reading? And I think I said something like Lord of the Flies. I don't know. I was like 14. He said, I want you to pick up a parenting book because when you pick up that parenting book, you're going to be a better leader. You're going to be a better Christian. You're going to be a better person. So if you haven't done so, dive into the free resources I have in this group. I have free resources. The book lists that I have are compiled from other mentors that I have in my life that are multi-millionaires, have wealth in all areas. I'm talking Christ. Their kids are successful. Their relationships are successful. They have never had a divorce, like literally fruitful relationships. And that's where this book list comes from. It's not from the internet. It's not me like, I'm going to Google what's the top. Like, no. I give you the best of the best because I want you to be the best. That's what being a fierce woman is about. It's about being the best version of yourself so that you can help elevate others. The last thing that I need to do is help create another multi-millionaire woman that's selfish. Pass, right? We're looking for the women that are actually serious about moving forward. So this week, that's going to be your homework. Your homework is to make positive choices within your life. You're going to look at what's my association? Who's my associate? What am I listening to? What am I reading? What am I looking at? Who am I plugging into the lives? Am I diving into a resource or am I scrolling? What am I fantasizing? What am I comparing? Comparison is a thief of joy. And women do it often. You'll look at someone else's life and you start comparing, oh, well, they have this, they have that. And honestly, that's a way that you allow the enemy to be a wolf in your life and function. Because then you start looking at their marriage, their life, their house, their cars, and you're not looking at your own blessings. Listen, the Lord has blessed you exactly the way that you need to be right now. For now. He has put you in the perfect position, even if you are in the wilderness. That's another thing. It's a choice. When you're in the wilderness, it's a choice to choose to be joyful. Listen, my husband and I have been through it. Okay. We were in a position that someone stole a lot of money from us. A lot. And it was an accounting firm. It sucked. We were living out of pantries, reaching out to the church. It was a terrible season. And you know what became the most evident during that time? My relationship with the Lord was even closer. And the people in my life became very apparent because guess what? Lily can't buy that anymore for you. Lily can't serve you in that way. How many times have you guys stepped into a relationship where they don't have the capacity to be for you, like with you, ever? But you are supposed to always be able to pick up the phone and have the capacity for them. I've been there. What about the people that if you feel too embarrassed to tell them what you're actually going through, they're not meant for you. Those are not people that you need to be around. Because if there's a level of embarrassment, that means that that person is not a safe space to help elevate you. Be very careful who you share your vision with. Be very careful who you share about your marriage. Be very careful that the challenges that you're experiencing, because I shared what was going on with a few people and they disappeared during this time. Oh, Lily can't, come on trips for a little bit. Lily can't do this. Lily can't pay for my meal. Lily can't. And I remember feeling like, God, thank you. During that time, I cried a lot because I was like, I just felt like I was like Job. Like it was just like one thing after another, one thing after another. And it was so difficult. And I just remember being so scared. So for those of you who are going through it, I want you to know the wilderness, escaping the wilderness, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good because you're going to see exactly who is for you. You're going to see exactly who's against you. Your purpose becomes very clear if you allow it to be. If you allow yourself not to be in a space of chaos, not to be in a space of hurt, not to be in a space of, woe is me, this is hurting me, this is happening, and you start being like, okay, God, how can I be better? What can I do to be better? What can I do so that I can actually be better, so that I can have better association, so that I can make wiser decisions? How can I be better, Lord? How can you partner with me? What do you need from me? And you start functioning in the spirit, girl. Let me tell you, you will be abundant in all areas. It's insane the miracles he starts providing because your faith is completely riding on him. When I had $0, it was scary. I was like, where are we going? How are we going to feed our kids? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to pay this rent? This rent? And we live below our means all the time. I'm not a fancy person. I'm not. Like, my kids paint my nails. Okay. Not a fancy person. My 7-year-old, she pretty much knows my nails are reserved for her. I do my own hair 99% of the time. Makeup for me is like blush, mascara, maybe some eye stuff, like, and some lip gloss. That's it. I'm a very simple person. So when this happened and we couldn't like handle certain things, it was a very scary space. But you know what? I am so thankful for it because God showed up, showed off. I saw exactly who the church was. That was another thing. Church hurt is a thing because the current church that we were part of, you know what they did? I went to them. We told them our problems and they were like, well, I'm not even going to detail of what they said. It was so ridiculous. But in addition to that, like they never checked on us ever again. It was almost like we couldn't tithe thousands of dollars, then we were no longer valid. And it was interesting because it was other churches that I had never ever expected, people that I never expected that showed up and showed off. And this helped me redevelop some things, re-understand some things. So this week, I need you to be mindful. If you lost everything, who's going to help you create abundance in all areas and fast? My husband asked me this question as a joke. I'll probably post it on Instagram. We were asking questions back and forth, and he said, if you had to come up with $10,000 in a month, how would you do it? How would you do it? And I was like, $10,000 in 1 month. First of all, y'all can make that in a day. I know that sounds like really hard, but it's not. You can make it in a day. Legally, I should be very clear with that. Okay, very, very clear. But the Lord has gifted you with a particular set of skills. You know, a movie I'm quoting, it's true. But he has given you a particular set of skills. And those skills, if done well, they can produce for the kingdom with the kingdom. Okay, so if I had to come up with that and had to come up within a month, I'm getting to every networking event possible. You know why? Because your net worth is your network. So this week, start paying attention to what you're partnering with. What are the choices that you're making? Because choices matter. Start paying attention. What am I reading? What am I writing? What am I listening to? What is this person saying to me? Is it positive or negative? Start making the wise decisions because in order to be more, you have to do more. You have to make different decisions. You have to move differently. Ask the Holy Spirit, I need you to partner with me, homie. I need you to partner with me so that we can make some big things happen. What are you investing into? What are the choices within your life? Are you in a position where you're constantly complaining, groaning, creating chaos? Because that's what you're used to. Let me tell you, sometimes the comfort of chaos is the sweet lullaby of the spirit of Jezebel. Don't fall prey. Do not fall prey to the lullaby of the spirit of Jezebel because many of us do. I've been there. Start paying attention to your association. Start paying attention to what you listen to, what has your attention. And if you see something in your life, a gap that shouldn't be there, fix it. It's not too late. Okay, love you guys. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Actually, before I log off, we have like 5 minutes. I want to open this up for Q&A. If anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself or you can put in the chat. I'll give you like a second to do that. I'm so happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Let me know. If you don't have any questions, it's totally fine. You can just put a heart in the chat and we can call it a day. Let me know. I'll give you a second.
Hi, so I'm new here. You actually had said something at the very end that really caught my attention. I was taking notes, but I felt like I couldn't write everything because I was so intrigued. But like, so
Okay.
I written down, you need to see who you're partnering up with and started paying attention to who you associate. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Um, okay, so when I'm talking about partnerships, not this is not just relationships, right? Like we need to start paying attention to when you're dating someone, the red flags in that, because red flags in that turn into black holes in marriage, whether you want to believe it or not. But also the people that we partner with, whether that be in our faith walk, whether that be with our wellness, right? Because think about this, right? Let's say you're trying to work on your wellness, but then you are choosing to be around people who could care less about their wellness. My little sister, she recently relocated. She was in Las Vegas and she relocated to Kansas City. And the girl has never looked so good in her life. Like she just looks good. And she's talking differently. She's being different. I said, "What's going on? What's going on with you? Like that you're being different." Like where I'm actually able to talk to her on a success level. And she was like, I got tired of being around the association that I was around. None of them cared about their health. None of them cared about their future. So I started to really pay attention whether or not I wanted to be around those people. So partnering in that sense, also partnering like your business. I have made some stupid mistakes with partnering with the wrong people in business. And I like to date, I'm like, I should have listened to the Holy Spirit. Listen, you know that feeling you get when you're like, something's off. Have you ever had that feeling?
Yeah.
That is the Holy Spirit literally screaming, don't do it.
Wow.
Don't do it. Right? Because there's this stirring in the spirit. God does not give us confusion. He gives us clarity and peace. He's not a God of chaos. So whenever you're in a position where you're just like, this just doesn't feel right, like there's something off, listen to it. Because it's better to be safe than sorry. Does that answer your question? And no, if it doesn't, maybe tell me a little more of what's confusing.
No, yeah, like I think what I need to hear is like getting tired of the association, the people you're around with that are really just draining you in a way, or
Yeah.
sometimes not supporting your goal or serving you in the way that you know deep down in your heart, like this something's off here. Like I've been talking about how I want to get healthier and things like that, and it's almost like they're like doing the exact opposite. So,
Mhm.
that yeah, just basically putting those into words where when I hear it, I'm like, yes, this is exactly how I feel, and I can't even go back to like a certain time that that's happened to me.
Yeah.
But that's why I just wanted to write more about it because when I'm journaling after like about this, because like
Yeah.
journaling just to get my thoughts together.
Yeah.
I wanted to write everything down, but there's only so much I can like do with typing and all that stuff.
No,
But yeah,
that's
thank you
okay.
so much for that.
There's also a replay. I'll post this again if you need to like re-listen to it, and because sometimes when we listen to things the second time around, the spirit speaks to us differently and highlights
Yes,
something.
yes, yes,
So for you, some homework for you. If you're like, man, it's the association, I want you to write down the gaps that you're currently experiencing in your life right now, and be honest. Like maybe it's like I smoke too much weed, I drink too much this, or maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's I eat too many cupcakes when I'm around this person.
yeah,
Whatever case. I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican, so culturally, which is insane, everything is heavy. Like in Greece you have to have some kind of tequila, like of course, like the music has to be like this. It's just culturally, I was told to be a certain way that is
yes,
not healthy. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
sometimes for me, I've had to in the past kind of be like, Dad, I'm not going to that. And it's interesting because I started doing that. My dad is actually a pastor now, whereas before he wasn't. My dad was
Oh,
definitely not going down the healthiest path. And it was because I started just saying, no, I don't feel right about that. My spirit's telling me no. And at first they'll make fun of you. Oh, 1000%. Like, you don't want to go. And then the people who are serious, they'll start following you. Like, wait, it doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel right. And it doesn't make those people less than. I want to make it clear. Just because someone is drinking, that's their choice. You know what? Like, it doesn't make them less than. But in order to be a cut above for you, write down all of the gaps that you feel like you're experiencing in your life and write the solutions. So like, man,
okay.
I feel like I don't have clarity in this area. Start picking up books, start listening to podcasts, Start getting active. The reason why I actually, to be honest, promoting so much growth within this group with like as far as hey, like write something positive in this group each and every day, it's actually not for me, to be honest. It's so that I can distinguish who are the women who are serious about rewiring their brains so that I can tap more into them to help them. Because what happens is when you force yourself to write something positive every single day, whether that be within this group, social media, when you force yourself to do it nonstop, you're rewiring your brain and it actually brings clarity so that you start moving in a complete different way. Does that make sense? Did I lose you?
So sorry, my dog is barking, but yeah, no,
Okay.
it definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Yes, thank you so much. And then I'm so excited. I think we had a meeting that was supposed to happen at one point.
Okay.
But I was looking into the school group together. And I started writing more into it.
Yeah,
This is
definitely dive in. We have the free group, we have the mentorship group. The mentorship group definitely dives into a lot more. I have three weekly lives just like this, lots of Q&A time. Basically, it's an opportunity for women to grow and not pay thousands of dollars. Although
mhm.
I also do have coaching one-on-one available for the women who are like, I need a little more hands-on, a lot more aggression. Like, so I have something for everyone. Just dive in and reach out. I'm here. I'm not like this secret book, but our time is up. I'm so sorry. I love you guys so much. And if you have any further questions, just hop on the next live or shoot me a message, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.